All right, guys, let's take a look at this very interesting diver, super compressor diver watch from Feynman. This is the Cove series. And like I said, being a super compressor, it's going to have the double crowns. This one is going to be for your time adjusting screw down. This one's also screw down. This will adjust your inner rotating bezel. That's what a compressor type case is. And keeps everything really sealed up because the bezel is internal and everything. So let's just get right into the specs, and then we'll just take a closer look at the watch, and then I'll put links in the description, obviously, so you can check those out if you have any questions. I believe it's still in, as of right now, it's still in Kickstarter phase. It's already been fully funded and everything like that, so if you're interested in picking one of these up, there's still time, and maybe you can pick it up after the campaign as well. But really nice case size on this guy. It's 41.5 millimeter from side to side. There are no crown guards, and I'm not going to include the crowns, even though adding those would probably be about the same as the 41.5 mil. The lug-to-lug tip here is going to be 45.4 millimeter. The case thickness, including the boxed sapphire, slightly domed sapphire crystal, is 12.8 millimeter, and then a 20 millimeter lug width here. You can see the case profile on this. You have a slight twist to the lugs, brushed on top, mostly polished, then brushed on the very sides of the case there. Really good, clean, defined lines from the two brushed and polished surfaces. If you look at the case back here, you're going to have an exhibition case back, screw down case back, of course, because it is a 200 meter water resist. You can see there's some decoration there. There's a specially colored and labeled rotor there. This is using the ETA 2895. Now, you don't see the 2895 used a lot, so it is nice to see it in this watch, and that helps get it more playful on the overall design, especially on the dial, because it's basically 2892, but it's been changed over so you can have the small seconds down there, offset of the hand stack. And I'll do a close-up of the dial here in a moment because there's some really crazy stuff going on there. There are three colors as far as I know. There's the Eclipse Blue, which I believe this is the Eclipse Blue because it is kind of a bluish tone on the outside, and it's eclipsed because of the center part. There's a Vintage Black, and there's a Founders Edition teal colored. The teal is mostly on that outer type ring, and then the center is still darker. And the loom on this is pretty wild too, the loom pattern they used. And they're using, depending on which model you get, there's different loom used in each one, potentially. So there's a BGW9, there's C3X1, which is super potent, and then there's a black loom. You can see, I believe that's black loom printed in the center there where all those swirls are. It looks really cool. I'll try to get it on camera. But let's see. Covered the size and everything like that. Let me do a wrist shot. Sign crown there, obviously on the timekeeping part. There's a F, and then if you look kind of closely, it's basically a C, and then there's a small break there where the brush is. That's for the, I guess, Feynman and then Cove. So kind of cool. There will be some changes. This is a full-on prototype, so if you see any scratches or debris or something like that laying about, don't freak out. This is a prototype. That's very common in prototype watches. But you can see on my 7 1/4 wrist, this thing is just perfection, and it really blurs that line between a sport dress watch and a dive watch, because it is a diver watch because of the compressor case, but it doesn't look like a diver watch. So it breaks from that tradition, and it's very nice lines to the case and everything. Also the strap, usually you just think, what, just a regular rubber or silicone strap, right? No, they spec'd out. This is called, I didn't do a ton of research on the material, but I did read their page, and it is a FKM grade rubber strap. Basically meaning that it's not overly thick, where you can get away with a thinner material because of the type of material, but it's resistant to a lot of elements and such, but yet it's still very comfortable and long lasting. So this is, I think, my first experience with FKM rubber, but I'm definitely intrigued, and I would like to get some of these straps for sure. So because these are very, very nice. So quick release pins on those you can see as well. So strap changes, no problem. And there might be stretch goals and the campaign and everything. Go click on that and check that out. So the other things, and I'll put a picture of the rendering of the final production model. I'll put it at the end of the video, so you can, it'll be on there and you can pause it and you can look at it, so you'll get a sense of what's happening there. But the main thing is the crowns are going to be, instead of this really nice knurling, which actually has a ton of traction, if you're going to do a small crown, put that knurling on there because that works. But they're going to go with a little bit larger crown, and it's going to have a different pattern on it. But you'll be able to see in that picture. The other thing is the loom. You know, I'm going to show you the loom, and you're going to be able to see it on this one, but the loom will be even better on the production one. Probably like a heavier application, so it'll be longer lasting. And that should be about it. That's the main changes on the prototype. So let's do some close-ups of this dial because it's pretty dynamic. Might be hard to capture, but so that center ring there, which is going to have your hours, right? The 12, 3, 6, and 9. If you look, it's basically, trying not to get any glare, but it's a ring that's set up on post. And I'm trying my best to capture it, guys. And you can see it just barely clears like that minute hand, and then the hour hand stays inside of it. So that's how they can get all the clearance. It almost looks like there's going to be interference somewhere because of the design. And then the seconds hand is sweeping down there, and that's a unique shape for the seconds hand too. And then the dial itself has like embossed markers leading out to the outside track, which in most cases is going to line up with the compressor or the internal dial there. So, and again, the handset fully polished, you know, kind of like a sword dagger type thing where they're going to have some chamfer on it and then a strip of loom in it. And again, all of that will be much cleaner in the final production model. I know there's probably a little bit of lint here and there on this guy, but you won't have that on the final production one. And then, of course, there's the ETA 2895. Very cool movement indeed. 30 joules, I think it says in there. It's a lot of joules, right? Oh, also the 2895 comes with a 50-hour power reserve versus some of the lower ones in the ETA lineup. So let me see if I can capture a little bit of loom on this guy. You know what? I'm gonna, for full effect, we're gonna give it a little blast of UV. Actually, I don't know if you can see that. Oh yeah, check that out. See how it glows green in the middle, and then that really nice purplish blue. If you don't have one of these UV lights, pick one of these up. They're fun to just play with. All right, let me pop these lights off so you guys can get a look at that. Yeah, you guys are definitely seeing that. That is just super fun. And I can't wait for the production model to see what that's going to look like, because it'll be longer lasting. And I don't know that it'll be any brighter. It'll just last longer. So typically don't see loom done like this on a diver style watch. So this is very fun, very cool, and definitely their own thing. I can appreciate that for sure. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Big thanks to Feynman for sending this in, and I will catch you on the next video.